Hey guys, and down here, this is going to be my chapter review to Nanatsu no Taizai 338, Farewell. Now, this chapter kind of builds on, I think I made it pretty clear, apologies for the washing in the back, but I made it pretty clear, I wasn't a fan of last chapter. My boy, Griever, go check out his YouTube channel, where he covers Taizai, and he covers a range of other manga that I've never read. So definitely go check him out if you want to see a breadth of other things. But he also does One Piece and all the good stuff as well that we're all familiar with. I think he does My Hero as well. Yeah, but he was very supportive in my view of last chapter in the sense of, you know, retroactively trying to fix Merlin's character, saying that she didn't do anything because it was all part of a master plan and everything kind of had to go right, none of the sins could die, and she was holding herself back in order to make sure that the Demon King died in the fashion that she wanted him to die and was killed in the way that she wanted him to die, and that she was the only one who knew about chaos, even though the Demon King and the Supreme Deity would have known about chaos, and apparently they never once mentioned it to either of their children, whether it be Meliodas, whether it be Zeldris, whether it be Elizabeth once she's regained her memories. Nobody knows about chaos apart from Merlin, so shout out to Griever, go check out his stuff. And this chapter was kind of more of the same shit. I'll get into a little bit of Arthurian legend here as we go through this chapter. So we start off this chapter with Meliodas kind of stupidly questioning Merlin, who's just stated that, well, the lake has just stated everything that Merlin did in order to achieve her goals. And Meliodas just basically says, "Is what the lake said about you true? Were you really trying to manipulate the 7 deadly sins into reviving chaos, to revive a possible monster, no, a being that might not even exist in the first place?" Whew. And she, what I hate about Merlin throughout this whole thing is she just kind of, and I'm just like, say something. Like, if you did it, yeah, Merlin's not the type of character to mope in the corner and just be like, maybe I did it, maybe I didn't. I'm just like, fix up, bro. This isn't Merlin. Merlin would straight up be like, yeah, I did, and this is the reason why I did it. And, you know, emotion, the friendships never really meant anything to me. So I feel like this guilty play, this guilty and kind of remorseful side of Merlin that we're getting, I'm not sure how to take it. Does she actually regret having done this, even though she just did it? Literally, they asked her, what was your end goal? Oh, this is my end goal. She revives chaos, and then you're just like, okay, like, cool. But the Lady of the Lake says chaos definitely exists. In fact, you've been around it for a very long time. I thought this was a joke theory, like, you know, Hawk Mama would be like, it was a joke theory that Hawk Mama was more powerful than anybody else. She was the wild card. She was the infinitely strong being in the verse. Nakaba somehow, like, I thought that was a joke. I really didn't want that to be true. Turns out Nakaba made that true, and Hawk Mama is this vessel for chaos. But what we find out here is, from the Lady of the Lake, chaos is more of a will. It doesn't really have a form. It doesn't manifest itself in a physical form. So the two gods, so the Supreme Deity and the Demon King, thought that they'd sealed away chaos, but hadn't truly sealed away chaos. What they sealed away was probably a physical form of some sort. But chaos is a will. It doesn't seal like that. But the other issue I have here is the Supreme Deity and the Demon King, born from this chaos, didn't know that chaos didn't have a form. They didn't realize that it didn't have a physical form. You know, it was just this will, and they didn't try and utilize other magics or anything like that. They just thought, oh yeah, we sealed it away, cool, great, we're just gonna carry on. It's like, no, come on, man. I feel like they really should have known. It's not necessarily saying that they were entitled to have that knowledge. Maybe chaos did have a physical form and they interacted with it a few times and thought that being was what they sealed away, and chaos had been sealed away. So maybe they were kind of misled. Anyway, Hawk Mama literally just deflates. Everyone's shook. Hawk is now without a mom. Don't really give a shit about Hawk. Wild was cool, but his mom couldn't give a shit about her either. I'm not gonna lie. King makes the observation here that this flesh of Hawk Mama isn't a pig. It's a shell made of multiple layers of moss. Bro, Derriere had a 52, I think. I just reread this chapter just real quick. Had a 52 layered combo star on Hawk Mama. This is a body made up of multiple layers of moss. Unless they were compressed to such a density that they were freaking forming diamonds, her body should have completely broken apart when she was hit by Derriere. Also, she had a tongue that supposedly was also made of moss. Maybe we can debate that. But someone somewhere should have really realized, hey, her body doesn't feel like flesh. It doesn't feel like Hawk's. Her body doesn't feel right, you know. Unless this chaos, you know, it has a will. Oh, the moss will feel like skin, or some shit like that. Someone should have noticed somewhere that Hawk Mama doesn't really feel right. She feels like grass. I don't know. Maybe someone should have noticed that. So we asked where are the contents of Hawk Mama? Where are they? So Chaos was within this shell of moss, and now Chaos is within Arthur, and he's the king of Chaos. And he's surprised. She's like, oh, cool, you know, Chaos is now within you. You are the king of Chaos. Meliodas is not happy with this. He's like, alright, but that magic he just unconsciously used, that's some bullshit. You need to turn him back immediately. That could be dangerous to the people around him. We don't know anything about that, and he doesn't know anything about that. Apparently nobody knows anything about that. Only you do, and we really don't trust you right now, so change him back. She's the Bugs Bunny meme, and she goes, no, that's impossible. Chaos has chosen Arthur as a being that it's willing to coexist with, because apparently this being that can create the supreme deity, the fairy king's tree, or the sacred tree, the demon king, basically created the entire world, humanity, giants, fairy folk. They were created from his creations. This Chaos, whether it be a she or a he, because it's addressed as she when we're talking about Hawk Mama, but it might be this genderless fluid thing. This being, this will, has chosen to coexist with Arthur because he is Arthur, and this is based off of Arthurian legend. Like, we're gonna need a bit more than that, and you can't say because he's Arthur. That sounds very fairy tale-ish, and you know, because she's Urza. We don't like that. That's bullshit. So what I liked here was Meliodas. I think the point he's making here is, she's like, oh, this is proof that Arthur is truly the king of chaos. And Meliodas is like, I don't give a shit about what you want Arthur to be. I don't give a shit about you fantasizing about him being king of chaos so he can create a new world where you can fap to Escanor 3,000 years ago. I don't know. He doesn't really give a shit about that. How do you know that Arthur wants this? Arthur hasn't ever said anything about being the king of chaos. What about his opinion? Do you not want? We should ask the guy if he wants to have this power. And even if he does want to have this power, what are you going to do with it? How do you know you're going to control it? You need to really break down the pros and cons of this. So Arthur basically had no decision in this. She just decided, oh, I'm going to revive him, defibrillate him with some chaos. It's all good. And she's like, you can blame me for all you want. I'm not sure if that's a good translation. I don't really know what that's supposed to mean. Arthur here separates the two who are... I don't think they were ever about to fight, but Meliodas was about to go up to him and be like, bitch, you done goofed this time. Arthur gets a quick cup of Merlin's breasticle here, just because he was trying to separate the two. He does apologize. What you'll notice is Merlin doesn't blush or anything like that. Putting to rest people who are like, oh, she's in love with Arthur, she wants to get jiggy with him. I don't think so. I think it's more of a master, apprentice, teacher, student, mother, son kind of thing. We then have Arthur kind of spewing some spiel about, you know, 7 deadly sins of the heroes I looked up to. Don't infight. I don't want to be the reason for an infight. Somewhere in the background, a bird literally animates from the ground, and it's not like it's a clay bird that can just move or something like that. Literally from the ground, a live bird is produced, because I think Arthur he starts creating shit with his chaos. And then you see him, while he's doing the spiel, while he's closing his eyes, imagining a naked Merlin, I think, he's creating a whole bunch of different things. He's literally bringing things into existence. I think either from the ground. Is this following like the laws of, is this that matter can't be created nor destroyed? Is this, or is that energy? I don't know which one it is. But I think these things are coming from the ground, so it's not that he's creating things, he's reshaping things. Even though technically Chaos initially was able to create things, right? He was able to create the Supreme Deity and the Demon King from what we know, nothing, right? Because he came from the freaking stars. He was I don't know. He was a weird guy, but yeah. So he's creating all these cubes, and he's continuing with his spiel. He's like, I dream when I was a child. I dreamed of being someone who could protect people, but no matter how hard one tries to protect, saving everyone is impossible. And I'm just like, cool. So he's like, that thought made me want to give up, and my mind filled with despair. And then I met Merlin, and she paved a way for me. Become a king who makes the impossible possible. This is very cringy. I don't know how. I'm not sure how Griever will feel about this. I feel like this was just very cringy setup here. Make the impossible possible. Become a king who can make a world where you can keep those that you cherish. Bring the dead back to life. I'm like, come on, man. There's no Monster Reborns here, even though she kind of did Monster Reborn Arthur. So while he's closing his eyes, thinking about Merlin, how she's helped him and all that good shit, he's basically creating all this shit, and the Sins are all shitting their pants because of his ability, because of his creation, or whatever it's called. Like, creation is actually Diane's thing, I think, because of his chaos abilities. So then he opens his eyes, and he's like, to become a great king, and you see this weirdly drawn background where he's created like a semi-city thing, because that's what he's thinking about, but creating a great world that no one has ever seen. And he completely subconsciously or unconsciously created this field, this almost pseudo city kind of thing, and he's shook by it. He doesn't know what the hell he's just done. So it's entirely unconscious. This could be a very, very big problem if he goes back to society and is unable to control this. Imagine this guy having a wet dream. He seems to be about that age. There would be people dying, drowning, whatever his mind conjures up. We're screwed. Like, I would not want to be in Britannia with Arthur. Anyway, the giant tankard, which forms the boar's hat kind of living quarters, the top of that, the wooden panel breaks off, and behind the wooden panel is Cath. And we all know the legends of the Cath Palug from Arthurian legend. Look it up if you don't. It's about a monster cat. In some Arthurian legends, the monster cat kills Arthur. Those are more the French ones, because the French have always had beef with the English. Newsflash. And in the more Anglo, are they Anglo-Saxon? Not even Anglo. But in the more English ones, Arthur usually prevails over Cath and is victorious. But Cath here sees Arthur and he's tearing up and everything. Bond doesn't know who the hell it is. But the Lady of the Lake is like, oh shit, do not let that thing get anywhere near Arthur. Obviously, everyone reacts too late. Even Merlin doesn't. Like, for once, Merlin reacts way too late, because Arthur's actually jumping towards Cath as well. And you see this monstrosity that Cath is. Opens its mouth. It's got this winding tongue. We've seen this before when it bit through a demon or some shit. It's got rows of shark-like teeth. Basically shark-like eyes as well. Oh my god, this is horrifying. And tries to bite a chunk out of Arthur. Luckily enough, Meliodas reacts. He's the only one that reacts quickly enough, sending Cath flying into the ground and just skidding across its face. Unfortunately, Arthur loses his right arm and he's screaming in pain, having just freaking lost his right arm. And it's not even like a Luke kind of injury. Like, he just lost his wrist upwards. He's lost his freaking arm from like mid-humerus down. That's like, if they don't stop the bleeding soon, he's gonna lose a lot of blood, and he ain't gonna last more than 5 minutes. He's gonna collapse. His brain gonna need that blood. His brain gonna be starved of blood. He's gonna be going through multiple strokes. His brain's gonna be dying. So someone needs to tourniquet that real quick, just from a medical perspective. And what Cath then does is, this is quite gruesome. Cath then munches down the arm with those rows of it-like teeth, those shark-like teeth. Munches down the right arm of Arthur, ingests it completely. Meliodas tells everyone to grab a hold of the cat, and the Lady of the Lake says, oh my god, his arm was torn off. You must recover his arm back, otherwise you will soon realize how powerful even a fragment of chaos can be. So first off, Lady of the Lake says his arm was torn off. You must recover his arm back. How do you recover something that's been eaten? Like legit, it's been eaten. There's gonna be something to do with Merlin here. Like, oh, I'll just take the fluids and the mush that's now in his stomach, and I'll reorganize it into an arm, and we'll just pop it back on like a freaking bionicle. I don't think it works like that, but you know, with Merlin around, shit could go down very similarly to that. And the last page where it's like how powerful even a fragment of chaos can be. I initially thought that means that Kath is a fragment of chaos, but I think I read that wrong and I interpreted that wrong in the sense of the fragment of chaos is Arthur's arm, and Kath has just ingested that and will power up because of it. And there have been interpretations of like the Kath Palug or Kapalu, I think it's called. Someone mentioned it on Reddit. I've forgotten your name, sorry. But basically it's described as having a cat-like head, a horse-like hooves or something like that, a lion's tail, the body of a horse or some shit like that. Yeah, it's basically it's like a chimera kind of thing. And that's the end of the chapter. But I'm confused. I'm super confused because in chapter 179, yeah, I actually did some research for once. Nanashi, the samurai-looking guy who's a foreigner who's come into Britannia, and he was teaching Arthur. That's the reason why Arthur was quite during the death of Meliodas, he became exponentially more powerful. He literally says to Arthur, well, let me see what it is. As long as that cat creature is with you, you will not die. That cat creature just took a huge bite out of Arthur's appendages and left him one limb less than before. So I'm just like, does that still hold true? Is this cat, like, as long as that cat is alive and with you, is Arthur still gonna survive? Because it doesn't look like that's the way it's playing out. Secondly, I think I might have made mention of the Lady of the Lake last chapter having given Excalibur to King Ganor or something like that, Ganfor. I don't know what his name was, but in Arthurian legend, what it should have been was Arthur receives Excalibur from. There's two kind of sources you can take from. Either Arthur receives Excalibur from the Lady of the Lake after his sword in the stone, so he pulls the sword in the stone. He's now King Pendragon, because Uther Pendragon, his father, died, and Merlin said some shit like, oh yeah, whoever pulls the sword out of the stone is the next king appointed by God and stuff like that. So Arthur pulls out the sword in the stone. That sword in the stone is not Excalibur, depending on which story you derive your information from. That sword in the stone breaks possibly on one of Arthur's expeditions or journeys, and he then goes to, I'm not sure if it's Salisbury Lake, to be fair, but there's a lake which is where the Lady of the Lake gives him Excalibur, and he's able to utilize all of its abilities and stuff like that. However, there is another kind of separate storyline which suggests that the sword in the stone was actually Excalibur. But people in the Reddit comments, actually quite a few of them were saying stuff like they can't wait for the arrival of Kay. And Kay, by the way, is if you know a little bit of Arthurian mythology, is basically the foster brother of Arthur, because Arthur was taken away from his mother and father by Merlin and then given into the care of someone else. I've forgotten his name, but basically he was put into the care of Kay's father, Kay being this who grows up to be a knight, one of the knights of the Round Table, but also the older foster brother to Arthur. And it's a tournament that Kay was fighting in where Arthur pulled out the sword in the stone. And people are saying it's the best opportunity for Kay to show up again. Have we seen Kay? Let me do a quick search. Because if we've seen Kay before, then that would be pretty impressive. Oh, okay. So we have seen Kay before. It's just that, yeah, I don't think he's turning up. If Kay turns up, that would be a bit weird. But in Arthurian mythology, that would be pretty cool, like to line that up. Kay turns up, you know, the best buddies, best boys, fight together against this cat demon thing, but it doesn't look like it's going to go that way. So I'm not sure how this is going to go. Is Arthur going to fight against this cat demon? One of the other things I don't like is Arthur's ability, right? So he's now able to freely manipulate the world just because he's Arthur. Legit, that's the only reason he's the King of Chaos. You're the chosen king. You are King Arthur. And rather than being able to utilize Excalibur to the fullest, which, by the way, I think if Arthur was able to utilize Excalibur to the fullest, which is basically one for all, like if you're comparing the two mangas, one for all, and its ability to stockpile power. I won't say more than that because there might be spoilers. That's what Excalibur is, right? All the abilities of the kings and the power of the kings beforehand stockpiled in the sword allow Arthur to use that. It's basically one for all, and then he has to train himself to be able to, you know, if it's a speed-based thing, it's like Deku has to train himself to be muscular enough, and his body needs to be sound enough to utilize all of that power. That's exactly what Arthur needs to do. So I think if he got to a point where he was fully able to utilize that, like at ease, complete ease, use max power, and he's very casual about it, Arthur would be powerful as fuck. Like, he would be insanely powerful. But then to give him this chaos ability, which is just, I don't know what to think of it. This chaos ability is very, very kind of, he wants to do this. He created a bird, suggesting he can create life. If Escanor comes back, I'm a bitch slap somebody. He's able to create random shit and create cities and stuff in the back of, like, his mind. It's a very broken hacks ability. Like, even the Sins shit their pants whenever he releases it. I'm just like, but why though? Like, it's just because he's the chosen king, he's able to do this. I'm saying, but the chosen king was able to wield fucking Excalibur. That's the point. That's why he's supposed to be King Arthur. He's the only one appointed to be able to wield Excalibur and all of its reserves of power from all the kings and stuff like that beforehand. Awesome ability. This chaos thing is just adding extra layers to the story. I don't think we need. So a lot of people are getting hyped up, like, yeah, this is a good turn to the story. This is something we don't know what's going to happen. It's not very predictable. Where's this going to go? And I agree in the sense of I don't know where this is going, and I'm intrigued to see where Nakaba's going to take this. But I don't have any faith because I don't see why we're doing this. Arthur's already got the abilities he needs. He just needs them trained out. Instead, he's been made way more powerful than any of the Sins, anybody there. He could, if he could probably subconsciously kill everyone around him right now, and he wouldn't know he'd done it. He'd just be like, "Yo, shit, where'd everyone go?" He could probably summon a wormhole. Everyone goes in. GG, game over. That's pretty much the power level he's at, and I don't like that. I think that's the supremest level, the most supreme level of bullshittery I've studied, and I'm not a fan. I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm not sure if Arthur's going to be fighting this Cath Palug or Cath, because he's bleeding out just a little bit, and I'm not sure how are the Sins going to fight it, and are they going to retrieve his arm, like just yank it out of the Cath Palug's throat or some shit. I don't know how this is going to go. I am intrigued to see where this is going to go. Like I said, I didn't like the whole Merlin kind of. I'm not sure what's going on. I kind of regret it though. I'm not sure what Merlin's shtick is. I'm not sure what her purpose is. Her kind of what she's going for. I don't really know what it is. But let me know what you guys thought of the chapter. I think I've addressed everything. I'm pretty sure I think I've missed a couple of things. I'm not sure what it is. But let me know what you guys thought of the chapter. Let me know what you guys thought of this review. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good shit. And oh yeah, the other thing was that the Lady of the Lake, yeah, just before we go, the Lady of the Lake and Merlin, this is Real Halo MC, Real_Halo_MC on Reddit. Good job. The Lady of the Lake, who's like the mistress or the princess or the hidden lady under the bedroom of the King of Chaos, right? She does something with chaos, and she didn't know what Cath was. Like, upon, well, actually, she was the only one that knew about Cath was, upon initial sighting. This is the first time she's seen it. And she's like, holy shit, keep that thing away. But she'd never, like, she apparently knows everything else, but she didn't know about Kath. So that's a weird one. Like, how did you not know about Kath? You know about Merlin's undying love for Meliodas and how, you know, what she does to herself in the darkest, deepest depths of the night. But you don't know who Kath is, and you don't know that Arthur's running around with it. Even though this guy's your probably last hope of reincarnating the King of Chaos, if there was ever a first hope. Merlin, though, Merlin, the one who knows about everything, knows nothing about Kath. Sorry, Meliodas doesn't know what a Kath is. Hawk Mama didn't even really know what a Kath was. Ain't nobody know who Kath is apart from Nanashi, who, like this real Halo MC guy says, Nanashi's the only one who looked at what's its face, Kath, and said, "Yo, you probably want to stick next to that cat creature. As long as it's with you, you will not die." And I'm just like, okay, but how does he know? Like, he's from a foreign land. He's not even part of Arthurian mythology unless he's someone that's pivotal to mythology. We just don't know about it. But I think that's everything I needed to say. Let me know what you guys thought of this chapter. Let me know what you guys thought of this review. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And I didn't like the chapter. I'll see you guys in a bit.